Federal agents did not topple a cartel network of this size by chance. The simultaneous strikes that dismantled its entire pipeline were the result of meticulous planning, cross-agency collaboration, and the kind of operational precision that leaves no room for error. Every move was calculated in advance, every target mapped, every contingency rehearsed. When the raids came, they were not isolated actions, but a synchronized assault on all the network's nodes, executed in near-perfect unison. The DEA and ICE, working with other federal and local agencies, proved that even the most entrenched cartel systems are vulnerable when struck at their core. The dismantling of this pipeline wasn't just an enforcement milestone, it was a glimpse of what's possible when intelligence, collaboration, and relentless focus come together against an enemy that thrives in chaos. At the heart of the operation was the recognition that Los Angeles had become one of the most critical nodes for the Sinaloa cartel's drug trafficking machine. For years, narcotics flowed through the city in staggering quantities, hidden in vehicles, stashed in houses, laundered through businesses, and funneled into the bloodstream of American communities. The cartel's pipeline wasn't run by every street-level dealer, but by gatekeepers, trusted operators who controlled smuggling corridors, arranged transportation, and coordinated shipments of both drugs and cash. Removing one gatekeeper might cause disruption, but removing several fractured the entire pipeline. What made this operation historic was not only the scale of the seizure, but the methods used to unravel the cartel's carefully built empire. Every move the agencies made was deliberate and coordinated, designed to do more than seize drugs. They aimed to dismantle the very architecture of the cartel's control in the region. The DEA and ICE didn't just take out traffickers, they destabilized the chain of command that allowed the cartel to operate with near impunity. The cornerstone of the operation was comprehensive intelligence integration. Cartels thrive in shadows, using coded conversations, burner phones, and layers of intermediaries to protect leadership. The DEA and ICE pierced that shield with wiretaps, phone monitoring, and meticulous surveillance. Every intercepted call revealed a piece of the puzzle, a name, a location, a code word. Agents weren't just listening, they were mapping networks, connecting dots, and reconstructing the flow of narcotics from the border into Los Angeles. This wasn't about quick busts, but about patience, watching the system in motion long enough to understand who moved product, who laundered money, and who enforced discipline with violence. That patience paid off when operatives hidden behind layers of anonymity were pulled into the light, their roles exposed by the invisible threads of communication they thought were secure. The cartel believed its complexity would provide protection, but instead, it became a pattern for detection.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
The operation also showed that Los Angeles was not a satellite, but a command post. The LA cell did not act independently. It moved under directives from cartel bosses who controlled smuggling corridors in Mexico. The investigation showed constant coordination between the LA cell and Mexican operatives who managed logistics and communications. The evidence revealed a seamless cooperation where Los Angeles handled the American side, but never without consultation from across the border. It was as if an invisible line ran from stash houses in Southern California back to the desks of cartel bosses in Sinaloa or Jalisco. The illusion that the cell was just another local operation was stripped away. The investigation further revealed Chinese-Mexican cooperation, with Chinese chemical suppliers providing fentanyl precursors that flowed into Mexico, where cartel chemists converted them into finished products before the pipeline pushed shipments north into Los Angeles. The LA cell sat at the receiving end of a global production chain, its role critical in pushing synthetic drugs deep into US markets. This multifaceted approach, intelligence, gatekeeper targeting, collaboration, covert operations, and financial disruption, bought time. It was about showing that America has the capability and resolve to to dismantle sophisticated cartel infrastructure, even when it is buried deep inside U.S. soil. The DEA and ICE struck at the cartel's financial heart. Money is the bloodstream of the operation, and without it, the pipeline suffocates. DEA and ICE investigators followed the trail of cash, not just in duffel bags, but through sophisticated laundering schemes. They uncovered the use of shell companies, fake invoices, and even cryptocurrency to move billions across borders. By targeting these mechanisms, the agencies froze assets, disrupted transfers, and exposed the facade of legitimacy that cartels hide behind. Every dollar seized represented not just lost profit, but lost capacity to bribe officials, purchase weapons, and fund further operations. The cartel's front businesses, seemingly legitimate ventures like restaurants and trucking companies, served as funnels for drug proceeds. The money left Los Angeles looking clean, but the investigation proved that even digital transactions trace back to cartel bosses in Mexico. Targeting these systems showed that losing your money means losing your power. The collaboration between U.S. and Mexican law enforcement was an operational necessity. Cartels are transnational by design, and attacking them requires a transnational response. The DEA and ICE worked hand in hand with Mexican investigators, sharing intelligence, coordinating raids, and even training together. A tip from a Mexican unit might intersect with a DEA wiretap in Los Angeles, and an ICE lead on money laundering might dovetail with a Mexican investigation into cartel finance structures. Together, the agencies created a seamless flow of information that eliminated the gaps cartels had long exploited between borders and bureaucracies. The use of covert methods gave this collaboration teeth. Drivers were discreetly tailed to stash houses, and vehicles with hidden compartments were intercepted, revealing caches of drugs and cash. Raids weren't executed blindly. They came only once the agencies understood the full scope of an operation. This meant when doors were kicked down, it wasn't just low-level mules being arrested, but mid- and high-level operators whose removal mattered strategically. The raids hit hard. Teams swept through stash houses, seizing drugs, cash, and weapons. Front businesses were shut down, accounts frozen, and assets seized. What appeared ordinary from the street was revealed to be a node in a criminal empire. Each takedown didn't just remove drugs from circulation. It removed the very places where the cartel believed it was safest. Without secure storage, shipments backed up. Without laundering outlets, cash piled up and became a liability. The transnational pipeline that had seemed untouchable suddenly fractured under pressure.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
The DEA's strategy of surprise, coordination, and overwhelming force was designed to minimize risk while maximizing impact, pushing operatives into surrender before casualties could mount. The tactical teams relied on speed and shock, entering fast and dominating every room. For traffickers, the hammer fell everywhere at once. When federal agents stormed a cartel stronghold, the clash was rarely silent. In these raids, operatives reacted with a grim playbook of desperation. Some fled through hidden compartments. Others tried to destroy evidence in frantic attempts to erase their tracks, and some raised their weapons in defiance. They vanished into crawl spaces and tunnels engineered with foresight to buy time against law enforcement. As agents stormed inside, cartel members grabbed at drugs, cash, ledgers, and electronics, trying to flush pills and set fire to documents. The most dangerous response was armed resistance, with operatives opening fire with rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Standoffs erupted into brief but violent exchanges. The cartel's strength was in fragmentation. When one branch was hit, another adapted. The only way to dismantle an entire network was to hit every piece at once, leaving no time for recovery. This is exactly what federal agents achieved through their synchronized strikes. The raid was more than a law enforcement action. It was a declaration that America has the capability, the resolve, and the growing strength to dismantle sophisticated cartel infrastructure, even when it is buried deep inside U.S. soil. For years, Cartel operatives believed they could transplant their logistics networks, money laundering pipelines, and command structures onto American streets without facing the same pressure they endure abroad. This operation proves them wrong. The message is undeniable. Nowhere inside the United States is beyond reach, and no cartel infrastructure is beyond destruction. The raid sends a chilling warning to traffickers. You can embed yourself in American communities, but you will face decisive action. You can construct elaborate infrastructure, but it will be torn down. You can attempt to blend into U.S. cities, but you will never be safe. America's rule of law is not a fence, it is a reach. The raid revealed that the United States is no longer simply reacting to cartel presence, but actively dismantling it. The nation has the intelligence, the coordination, the financial targeting, and the global partnerships to tear apart even sophisticated infrastructure on its own soil. This raid is both a blow to one cartel's structure and a warning to all others. The United States is ready, capable, and committed to crushing cartel infrastructure anywhere it takes root.